Welcome to week 2 of Plant Iowa's Forbe Friday. This week we got 3 great plants. We'll start off with Compass Plant, then work our way down to Leadplant, and last but not least, Rattlesnake Master. Compass Plant has many distinct features that make it what it is. Scientific name Silphium laciniatum. The Silphium family is pretty, well, if you know ball, then you know that there's a lot of other tall plants within this family. And Compass Plant is no different. This plant can get up to 8 to 9 to maybe even 10 feet tall in a good year. This plant is native throughout the state, found in sunny areas with well-draining soil. It's a mesic to mesic dry, sometimes mesic wet, but erring on the side of drier habitats. Because they can go down and find out water, right? If it's going to be 10 feet tall, it's got to be deep too. As the story goes from a friend of mine, him and some students tried to dig up a compass plant to transplant it for whatever reason, an established plant. He said they dug down 10 feet deep, and it was still, the taproot was still as big as his forearm was, 10 feet down. So he didn't make it. They stopped there, and I don't know if the plant transplanted, but what goes up must go down. This plant is great for wildlife as well. You can see in the flowers are good for pollinators. But once they turn to seed, they have little papery discs that are kind of on the ring of that, what would be sunflower type flower. And those seeds are eaten by birds and small mammals. This is a great prairie plant known for its very scenic, almost completely different look on everything about it, truly. The leaves are different, the flowers similar but different, and the flower stalk is also very different. This is a pretty decent landscape plant. You have to find the right site for it, but once in the right site, it can be a very showy, ornamental, and different plant in your landscape. It's a great plant to show off to your neighbors, say, hey, look what I got, where's yours, right? Your little weak ass petunia is nothing compared to this 10-foot tall giant sunflower. This plant is different in many sorts of ways, not just the height, but the leaf shape. You can imagine a leaf, I think of an oak tree when I think of a leaf. It's gonna be lobed and go in and wave. Well, these leaves are almost like spikes, but a fan, if that makes any sense. And I don't think it does, but it makes sense to me, so that's what matters. Along with the leaf shape being different, they also change colors in the fall, similar to a tree. So you're gonna have that kind of green to gold to sometimes red color change on the ground level like you would have in a tree. Along with the leaf shape and color, the leaf texture. Along with the leaf shape and leaf color, the leaf texture will be different. It looks kind of rough, but somehow still approachable. So it's not spiky, it's not barbed, but it is textured. So there's little fine hairs. Another thing, if you touch the leaves, so the leaves are generally pointed north and south to avoid the hot sun in the peak of the day. But if you feel these leaves, if you touch them on both sides, you can feel that the leaves are cold to the touch. I don't know the science behind this, but I know it's true. And if you go out and find a compass plant, you should feel the leaves and feel how they're cold. Some native tribes believe that this plant could attract lightning and summon lightning. It might not summon lightning, but it very well could attract lightning. And you're in a roaming prairie scenario where there's no trees for miles and miles, and all you have is big, beautiful roaming prairies. Even just something that's 10 feet tall is the tallest thing out there, which very well could attract lightning to it. I don't have a ton of the ethnobotany of this plant, but from what I'm told, the root is considered a mild hallucinogen, and it can be. I've eaten it raw from my transplant and my little plants, and I didn't feel anything. But I know in larger plants, you can kind of fire it and grind it up, and then it can be smoked. And it's supposed to also help with visions with that hallucinogen, trying to be like a freeing thing to the mind. Our second plant for this week is Leadplant. Another great plant, great pollinator plant, great landscape plant. It is native throughout the state, scientific name Amorpha canescens, and it's a great plant for everybody. This is a great pollinator plant with these purple spike flowers being very attractive to bees and butterflies. It's got a little orange tint on some of them, and that's like the larger pollen granules. And I've seen just many species of bees absolutely crush this flower. This plant has a very high conservation rating, which means it is used to determine the quality of a remnant prairie in Iowa. So if there's a lot of lead plant, then it's thought to be a very good site and likely untouched or unplowed. This is another great landscape plant. Has many qualities throughout, like in nature, in the prairie, in its native setting, but it also is great for your landscape. It has very fine composite leaflets that are silvery and green to the view. This plant is great for pollinators, birds, and insects that want to feed on its leaves, but it's also great for your landscape. The showy purple flower is just one of its many great features. This plant thrives in well-drained black soils, can handle some sandy prairies, and loves itself in open savanna, sometimes hiding a little bit in the shade, but it can also take full sun. A little ethnobotany of this plant is that the Omaha tribe applied dried leaves to cuts and scrapes to help promote scab formation. Lead plants are shorter, but still very showy and very well-behaved landscape plant. I highly suggest it for your landscape because it's going to be that semi-shrub, so it's going to be a nice mix between calm and orderly tree and then returning growth every year, new growth every year, like a perennial will be. And the flower is just awesome, and it's a very well-behaved landscape plant, great for your yard. The last plant is a very different plant. Maybe not as slept on as the other two, but an underrated landscape plant that I think more people should have in their landscape. Rattlesnake master, scientific name Eryngium yuccifolium. This plant is native throughout the state, found in full sun, well-drained soils. This plant is phenomenal for pollinators. I'll say that throughout this video many more times. Great for bees, butterflies, let's go broad, beetles, crawling insects, hummingbirds, moths. It's great for everybody. This plant is a host plant for the rattlesnake master stem borer moth, which means this plant can only live on the leaves of this plant when it is a caterpillar. The seeds are eaten by a few types of finches because it's a very hard seed. Even the flower, the whole thing looks kind of rough, and you might think that, but I think he's just a misunderstood guy. You look at the seed head, it's very hard, but yet you see tons of bees loving it. So if you show it some love, it'll show you some love. Besides being great in ecology, it's also great for your landscape, partially because of those ecology things, but also looking at it from a more ornamental side and the more general landscape things that we think of. So it's got that white globed spike flower. That's not just great for all your pollinators, but it also is just different than most other flowers. I don't know any other flowers that have that kind of white spiky ball. The foliage is not really comparable to anything else. Maybe a yucca, that's where part of the scientific name comes from, yuccifolia, which means yucca foliage. That's the closest thing it can be compared to, but even then it's not quite the same. It has little strips that come out, and even those strips have little notches that look like thorns, but if you touch them, they're really not very pokey. This plant even sticks out within a prairie. There's tons of funky stuff going on in a prairie, but when this thing is in flower, it's just a little bit taller than everything else, and it's just mind-blowing. Just to really get up close and personal with this plant is just super weird. It's a little alien plant, and it's great, and I love it, and I think you should love it too. That's why I'm making a video on it, so I hope that you can get it in your landscape and grow it, because it's a great plant. Even historical landscapers like Pete Udolph think that the eryngiums are a great plant and has many of them in his gardens. It's got crazy seasonal interest. In spring, it looks like little alligator tails just sticking out of the ground. You walk through a prairie like, what is that? You go over and it's just a little kind of like it's an alligator tail. That's what I'm gonna say it as. It's got little spikes going on the side, and it's just a little almost blade of grass hanging over. That's in spring. In the summer when it's flowering, phenomenal. Covered in bees, white flower, spiky ball. Just that much taller than the other things surrounding it. And even into the fall, it holds onto that seed head, and that seed head turns black and has still kind of that gray. And so it hangs on. In winter, it's gonna hang onto that seed head even more. So you get a nice snow, it's gonna sit on there, it's gonna be super picture perfect, and it's gonna be I mean, that's all 4 seasons, right? So it's gonna be great throughout the year. Once again, phenomenal pollinator plant. Great for everything. Can't get that through enough. One reason this is because one plant, one singular plant, can have anywhere from 1,000 to 4,000 little flowers on it. So in all those little spiky ball, like those spikes, there's a little flower somewhere in there. So a little bit of ethnobotany of this plant. The roots were used to help heal snake bites and treat snake bites. Historically, the rattlesnake, but modern medicine would not back this, but the native people were using it to treat rattlesnake bites. It was also used to make baskets and sandals because those blades can be taken off and woven together. And so me personally, I would like to have some rattlesnake master Crocs, maybe some Birks made from rattlesnake master. I think that'd be pretty sick. Thank you for watching week 2 of Plant Iowa's Forbe Friday. Hope to see you again next week. Everybody get out and enjoy a prairie wherever you can. If that's a little garden in town, if you can actually make it out to some natural conservation area, that'd be great. Go experience it for yourself and get outside and plant Iowa.